In this lesson, we're going to correct the common issue of red eye. You can go ahead and open this photo. It's an older film photo, and you can see we have some red eye occurring in this cute little baby's face. Let's go ahead and zoom in there so we can get a good look at it. Now, red eye occurs when light from your flash bounces off of your subject's retina. It often happens in low light situations. I'm going to show you two different ways in which you can correct red eye. So first, we can go ahead and duplicate our layer twice. And the top layer, go ahead and make that invisible. And you can be working on the second layer. The second layer, let's go ahead and name this red eye tool. And the first layer, you can name manual. Okay, making sure that the top layer is indeed invisible and that you're working on the red eye tool layer. You can go ahead and select your red eye tool. This is the first way that we're going to get rid of the baby's red eye. It's found under the spot healing brush tools. It's the last option. Also, make sure that you are zoomed in enough so that you can see what you're doing. And using the red eye tool, shortcut J, we are going to click on the baby's eye. And you can see right there, it takes away the red immediately. Now, with the red eye tool, you can also click and drag, just to demonstrate that here on the other eye, and that also gets rid of it. And in some cases, all of the red may not disappear immediately, in which case you can click and drag again until it's gone. Also, most of the time, the default settings for the red eye tool, which are found in the upper left-hand corner, the default settings pupil size and darken amount, usually those work fine at 50%, just how they are. Now, there are some exceptions, such as with eye reflections from animals, in which case you may need to increase the darken amount. So while the point and click functionality of the red eye tool is wonderful when it works, there may be times when it doesn't quite do the trick. That's why I also want to show you the manual method number 2 to do this, just so that you know another way. So let's head over to our layers palette and select the manual layer. Make sure you select the eye next to it in order to make it visible, and you can see that the red eye returns. Now, this method is manual, but it's also quick. Head over to your brush tool. For the blending mode of your brush tool, which is most likely on normal at this point, go ahead and select saturation. For your foreground color, make sure that it is black. Set your brush size to about the size of the baby's pupil. Make sure your opacity and flow are at 100%. And so with that brush size of about 15 pixels is what mine is set at, go ahead and click once in the baby's eye. And you can see that it actually removed the red. Go ahead and click on the other pupil. Okay, so at this point we've gotten rid of the red, which is wonderful. But now we need to add back in more of the black color to make the baby's eyes look natural. And so we're going to do this using our burn tool. That shortcut O on your keyboard. And let's zoom in a bit. We're going to essentially paint back in the color that was there. I have my exposure set at 50% starting off. And I have my brush hardness at about 20%. I'm using a brush size of about 3 pixels, and you're going to paint around that eye so that it becomes much darker. And you see it is gradual. Let's up this to 80%. So our exposure is now at 80%, and all you're doing is going in and painting over that small area, bringing that black back into the baby's eye. So when you've done the first eye, you can go ahead and do the second. And so at this point, we can go ahead and zoom out of the photo. So there you have it, 2 ways to eliminate red eye in your photos. And if we wanted to do a quick comparison of both layers, this is the manual method that we used. This is using the red eye tool. And so you see with the manual, we did make it a little bit darker. If you wanted to make it lighter, you would just go over the pupils of the eye less with the tool. So it does give you much more control. So I would actually recommend trying to use the red eye tool first in a situation. And if that does not work, then I would recommend using the manual method to get rid of red eye.